Cool. Hey, everybody. My name is Eric Schwartzel, and today I'm going to be your host. And I'm going to be talking today with Joey Lee from Pixel Canvas. And we're going to talk about my metaverse experience, I guess, looking for different providers and why I decided to go with Pixel Canvas. And then Joey's going to talk a little bit about his company. And then hopefully we're going to do some Q&A that will help us all try to figure out our future direction regarding metaverses and different platforms that are coming out, especially if you're an agency or a brand. And Joey?
Yeah, thanks for putting this together, Eric. I think for Pixel Canvas, we've done a lot of metaverse events for a while for other companies, and using our platform, we have a lot of these features like the live stream that we're using right now with global chat. We never thought about using this for our own webinar, so great idea. And let's, this is our first one. Let's see what happens.
Cool, awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to go through our agenda, talk a little bit about Perfectoverse, and then Joey's going to give us some examples around Pixel Canvas and so forth. So let's see. Share my screen. Cool. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about metaverses in general, and metaverses can be explicitly for two types of audiences. That could be for enterprises and they can be for consumers. The stuff that I'm going to be talking about is going to be around the consumer experience. And let me just get my thing over here. Sorry. Let's see. Cool. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to talk about Perfectoverse and how I got started in metaverses. We're also going to talk about what I call the metaverse checklist. And then Joey's going to talk a little bit more information about Pixel Canvas, give us some metaverse examples, and talk about costs, and then links for you to actually try out a metaverse. And then we're going to do the Q&A. So where do I kind of fit into all this? So I own a company called Watch and Play, and what we did was we created Perfectoverse, which is a concert film and interactive experience all around DJ Paul Oakenfold. So DJ Paul Oakenfold, he's a legendary DJ. He's done stuff with YouTube and U2 and I mean, literally hundreds of different musicians. And so what this is a kind of a fantasy experience put into a 72-minute concert film. And we're really proud to actually announce that the Producers Guild of America actually nominated us for an innovation award. So really, really happy with everything that's come out, and that's my team right there. And we've also worked with so many different partners, Digital Planet Studios, FansXR, Yume, Your EDM, Pioneer DJ, In.Live. Live. They were all part of the Perfectoverse family to actually create what we put together. And we're pretty excited that we're getting actually recognized above and beyond the Producers Guild, but also now this is on the morning TV show in Israel, Channel 13, and how they're talking about all the different visuals and so forth. So what is Perfectoverse? So Perfectoverse is a concert film, and it's kind of like the next generation of concert films. What we didn't want to do was create a traditional concert film. We wanted to create it as an experience. And so we're using the Unreal game engine, which creates the 3D environments, the backgrounds. And then we did green screen, motion capture, and volumetric video all around DJ Paul Oakenfold, and then taking those assets and putting it into the Unreal environment. So what all that means is, like, here's an example of volumetric capture. And what volumetric video is multiple cameras all filming at the same time to create a 3D model. And then you can take that 3D model and put it into a game engine. We used Unreal, but you can also do it with Unity, and you can even do it within WebGL and so forth. And then the output, what it looks like is something like this. So here's a WebGL experience where we took the 3D volumetric video. This is with Yume. And we then put it into a WebGL experience. And so the consumer can then become the director. So me as a producer, I always love to have other people, their own perspective on the camera angles. And that's exactly what this WebGL experience created. So it's like a 360 view of using the volumetric video that we captured. When we created the concert film, we could take that same 3D volumetric video and we could put it into the Unreal Engine to create the I guess these special effects within the Unreal Engine. So this is what we call double Paul, where we have Paul performing on the spaceship, but then he's also on the buildings. This is one of the songs within Perfectoverse. There's 16 of them, and Paul is also on the background on the Manhattan skyscraper. But for me, what I've always wanted to do is come out with a concert film, but then have you interact in it also. And that's kind of where my relationship with Pixel Canvas started, where I met with Joey and we decided to take the Unreal environments and then you become a character inside these worlds. And so I'll let Joey kind of talk a little bit more about Pixel Canvas and kind of where he sees things going. And then I'll also go through the Metaverse checklist. Oh, Joey, you're on mute. Sorry.
I'm muted. Sorry. So yeah, the footage that you're seeing here, maybe let me go ahead and share my side, and I can talk through what it's a good handoff right here.
Yeah.
Making sure you see my screen. Does that look all right?
Yep, looks perfect.
All right. So yeah, here's some examples of industries that we've worked on before on previous projects. Just coming off of what Eric was showing right there is this is music entertainment, right? We took the same Unreal Engine file that was built for that 72-minute film and made it gamified, playable within our infrastructure. So it's live multiplayer, it's got avatars, gamification. Another example that we've done pretty recent was ASU Thunderbird. So they did a collaboration with Space Force to do a soft launch event where you had essentially staff members come in, students were able to explore this metaverse space that we've built for them. There's the dean, there's multiplayer with our built-in video chat network. And then, e-commerce, very popular request, being able to shop in the metaverse, buy things, transact, monetize your products virtually. And then most recently, this was about a week ago, is Digital Fashion Week. So we worked with Digital Fashion Week New York and London. What you're seeing here is some footage captured of me just running around seeing the people visiting the booths, the sponsors. We had 17 designers and 6 sponsors just showcasing their designs in our Metaverse platform. And what's cool is that also was the same file, Unreal Engine 5 file, was given to Epic Games in London. They had a real IRL event with a big LED screen where they used the environment as a parallax background in real time, just kind of like how they filmed The Mandalorian.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's really, really cool. I guess one of the things that we were going to talk about was kind of like from Pixel Canvas, you can do full service, but you can also do templates and so forth. Can you explain a little bit more about like the different environments that you guys are using?
Absolutely. So what you're seeing here on this slide is essentially that. We've done a lot of bespoke work in the previous 2 years, especially when we first began. We had nothing. Right? We had to build all of our environments, our assets, our games, our code. But we ended up, over the course of 2 years, we ended up with a huge library of environments and games. So what you're seeing here is essentially we have an environment for almost every use case. If you want a convention center, here's one that's one of our most popular. Sorry about that. It's right here, the Digital Fashion Week, that space. We call it the showroom. That's also beginning to be the most popular space now. To just kind of for any brand to come in, just be like, hey, I want that one. It has most of everything that I need. Let's just focus on rebranding and transforming these spaces into any brand.
So those metaverses look pretty sick. That's pretty awesome. But what can you do in them? Like, do you guys have different types of modules, I guess?
Yep. So what you're seeing now is, I think one of the biggest complaints about metaverse platforms is like, it's cool. It looks, there's some screens here and there and NFTs on the walls and art, but there's nothing else to do here. So what we really try to focus on is really making that minute-to-minute gameplay in the metaverse engaging, and it's something that's sticky and people want to come back for more. So we not only have beautiful environments that's Unreal Engine 5 quality, but also 30 different mini games that's all reskinnable. Escape rooms being one of our most popular. We have 5 different versions of that. So yeah, if you're a brand, it's almost like a la carte where you can pick and choose like, hey, I want a convention center with an escape room and some beer pong. You just kind of mix and match those.
That's pretty cool. So can you give me an example, I guess, of both a full service kind of world and then also a template one?
Absolutely. So this kind of leads into what truly makes us quite different. At least I haven't seen any other platforms take the metaverse approach like how we are. So let me full screen here and pause it. I like to call this like we're almost like a Squarespace for Web3, where what you're seeing here, this is our dashboard where you can create your own metaverse web pages, white labeled web pages, and upload your graphics, your logos, and your brand colors, and boom, in 2 minutes, you have a Jeremy Lin NFT metaverse space with one of our template basketball courts, branded Jeremy Lin. And going back, this is exactly what we're using today, which is because we've done so much virtual events. Right here, I'm going to pause it. We also have built-in video chat, global chat for to text and ask questions for live AMA, like what we're doing now, and also the live stream just goes here. And this could be also a video on demand. And then you're one tab away on the left here to bounce into a metaverse experience with your avatars.
That's pretty cool. And then what about costs? Can you give us some ballpark numbers?
Yeah, so let me go back over to the templates. So making sure you still see the new slide, right? Just confirming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, I can see.
So with the templates, we actually have a price sheet with all of these different offerings at a different price point. And just to show you a little example, this is a hotel lobby with 3 different brands. We have Verizon, UCLA, and the Art Deco brand. And it's the same geometry, but just completely transformed into what essentially feels like, this looks like a Verizon space, right? And that's how we treat all of our other spaces that you see here. So high-rise showroom can start at a 20,000 setup fee. That means from soup to nuts, we'll set it up for you. We'll completely transform those spaces with our 3D designers, 2D graphics, project management, and the full service to a one-time fee to set that up. And you have a whole list to choose from. So if you want to exhibit hall, a convention where you have sponsors, this space has been quite popular. This is the one that ASU Thunderbird used. And these are all different booths you can choose from. And then an entire mall, which this one's one that kind of goes up in a little bit more on the premium side, which is 50,000, but there's 30 storefronts to use, and you can add all kinds of content and partners in here if you wanted to.
Cool, that's pretty awesome. So I think this is probably a good segue for me to kind of go through the Metaverse checklist. Let me share my screen. Let's see. So on the Metaverse checklist, I broke it down into 4 components. The first one is the who, why, and what. The second one are tech questions. The third part is usability. And the fourth part is the budget, marketing, and expectations. And these are all things that I wish I kind of knew before I started building out metaverses. And each part is equally important. And what I mean by that is you kind of have to go in order of these 4 different directions or objectives so that you can figure out exactly which way do you want to go. So let's jump into things here. So the first part is understand your audience and their needs, and that's kind of like the who, the why, and the what. The audience, are these your employees or their customers? Do they have 3D gaming experience, which is mainly for the 3D keyboard or joystick navigation, virtual joystick navigation? And then the why are you creating the metaverse? Is it for an internal facing activity like workshops or immersive meetings or trainings? Or is it an external facing activity open to the public? So like a brand activation or a product showroom or immersive presentation or event, or even culture. We're getting more and more inquiries from Ministry of Tourism's where they want to do photogrammetry of historic significant locations. And then do you want to grow your business with your current audience, or you want to reach a new audience? Sometimes the way that you create your metaverses are going to be different around those. Then once you outline your audience, you should get into specifics around technology and then the customer journey expectation. For instance, does your experience require gamification elements, or is it just a simple collaborative viewing experience? And then which platform, your own platform or a third-party platform? I usually think of this as like in Web 2 language, as like, do you want to have your own URL, or do you want to sell your products on Amazon? So this is something really similar. So for instance, there's Roblox, there's Fortnite, there's Decentraland, there's Sandbox, or do you want something with more better graphics, such as like a spatial, or do you want to do your own solution on your own URL, which is like a pixel canvas solution? And then lastly is, what kind of space do you want to build? Is it a digital twin, so a one-to-one copy of your existing space in the real world? Or is it something that's custom made or a fantasy kind of element? And then within that space, do you want to have NFTs? Do you want to have integrated avatars like Ready Player Me? And then the platform, do you want to do this in VR? Do you want to do it on web-based, on browsers? And then obviously, how many users do you want to have in your world? So these are all things that can kind of dictate your budget. And there's a big difference between like a $25,000 experience, which is more like templatized, or $50,000, and they can go all the way up to $1 million and more, based on this metaverse checklist. Joey, did you have any questions regarding the checklist at all?
No, I think these are really important questions that generally, I try to ask as intro calls with inbound. This is still a new space, right? Everybody's still trying to learn. As for me too, last year was a lot of discovery and just kind of seeing patterns of the questions that people run into, the problems that they're trying to solve, and how does the metaverse fit in? And again, I don't think there's anybody that can claim they're a super expert because it's only been around for so long. And I think this is a fantastic list.
Cool. Hey, so we have a bunch of Q&A questions, and want to throw some out to you and kind of see what you think, both, I guess, philosophically, where you think like the metaverse is going. But the first one is, where do you see like agencies and brands going with the metaverse, based on your experience now? And then where do you kind of see it like the next 12 months, 18 months?
Yeah, I think for me, going back, over the last year or two, it went from a little bit from when we started. It was virtual events because we were forced into this. I think pandemic kind of accelerated a lot of this, to be honest. And this is how Pixel Canvas started. Was during the pandemic, I had a team that made a VR game, and it won an Epic Mega Grant. But over the course of a few months after we released the game, pandemic wipes out physical events overnight, and that's where I myself have spent over 10 years in experiential marketing, working with brands like Amazon, Toyota, Honda. And that was when I took the opportunity to be like, you know what, since there's no physical, why don't I simulate this? I'm using the game engine already, Unreal Engine 4 during the time, and just started to simulate exhibit halls, experiences. And then it got a lot of traction. Brands were looking at it and was like, okay, can I do a sales kickoff event using this immersive form that, it's essentially, it's playing a video game, but being able to actually get immersed into a convention center through your laptop, right? Because these visuals with Unreal Engine has gotten so far, so photorealistic to where, hey, most people are like, hey, this isn't just for my kids anymore. This is something that I can get behind. And I think brands are starting to see that in their products. They want to get their products in here. For instance, LG, we did like a kitchen for them that's super photorealistic, ray tracing, real time. And to be able to shop in a photorealistic way and explore the kitchen and see and animate and touch and interact with these kitchen products. Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you go to Amazon and .com and look at a flat website of like a video and some screenshots and then buy, versus like, hey, let me actually, interact with these things before I make my purchase.
No, that's awesome. Like I said earlier, I'm a huge fan of, Pixel Canvas. I even got the, the t-shirt on and stuff. So yeah, so I want to say everything that you're, helping out other creators to utilize pixel streaming, because it's super complex for us to try to do it on our own. So we're really, really grateful for Pixel Canvas to provide these tools for us. Yeah, so that kind of brings us, I guess, to the Unreal game engine. And I want to see, where do you see that kind of going, with Unreal Engine 5.1 and any kind of new features, and kind of where you see pixel streaming kind of going?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think, when we first started, PureWeb has been what our very beginning. We tried pixel streaming right out the gates. We were probably one of the first to market to actually do things for brands, right? And it developed over time. And we did a lot of enterprise level pixel streaming events that was, quite heavy in the sense that we had to reserve thousands of servers worldwide. These are big companies that needed, people coming in from their sales team from Asia and Europe. And we needed to reserve thousands of servers to be able to run a 3-day event. So the costs for those were quite high, but for enterprise, it's okay, this is better than flying out 2,000 people to some location and have hotel and all that. It racks up versus hey, everybody from home, because there's no other choice with the pandemic lockdown. Let's actually build some sort of convention sales kickoff space that they can actually just go to a website, log in, and be able to explore, gamify, watch the live streams, from the comfort of their homes. And that really showed hey, this is something. There's something here. And I think over time, more and more what I'm seeing is a persistent world. So now we, PureWeb has this on-demand option where you can actually just hit the website and it'll spin up the server on the fly. So you're not getting minutes being used if nobody's hitting your website at 2 a.m. So it's only spinning up these. So that's been really fantastic to try to keep the balance of yes, pixel streaming server costs is still, we still need to work on it. There's more room to grow there or reduce. But at the end of the day, I do see all AAA websites or all brands would need a AAA game in the future. And I think with the Unreal Engine 5 and pixel streaming combination really does offer that.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, hey, Joey, this has been super informative for me, and I'm sure we're going to get a lot of feedback from a lot of the fans that are watching online and stuff. So for everybody that's tuning in, we're going to send out an email, and I'm going to give you guys a free code to watch the Perfectoverse concert film. So it's a promo code, and love to get your feedback on Perfectoverse. We'll also send you over a PDF on the Metaverse checklist. So hopefully you can use that when you decide which direction you want to go on creating your own metaverse. And then obviously, Joey and myself, we're always going to be available if you have questions on how to create your own metaverse. And if you have questions regarding Pixel Canvas and so forth, definitely send them all in. And again, we're going to be doing the same webinar on April the 6th around the same time. And feel free to send us an email with any questions or comments. And we'll adjust based on your feedback. We'll adjust the webinar. So it'll be a little bit different webinar. And I'll talk actually a little bit more about 3D volumetric capture and some of the future stuff that we're working on at Watch and Play. And again, thanks for everybody participating. And Joey, any final words on the Metaverse?
Yeah, I think the site that we have called showroom.pixelcanvas.com, the one that you're watching this on. There is a Metaverse space that is there available for you to check out. This is the same template space that we use for Digital Fashion Week that, got a lot of shares on social media and Instagram. So take a look at that. It's just a pixel branded version of that, just to showcase how versatile these template spaces can look with, when you start uploading your own video content and graphics, you can really transform any one of our spaces to your own. And that's kind of what we want to display here, is to give you guys a little bit of insight with this webinar, and also a actual demo that you can just jump into and get a feel for what a Pixel Canvas experience is like.
Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, hope everybody has an amazing day. And we look forward to getting additional feedback from you. And we'll see you either on the dance floor in Perfectoverse or in the metaverse. See you all.